Hello, and it's Friday evening, which means it's time for Ask Sid. Ask Sid's been away for a couple of weeks, couple of family issues and things like that. So I apologise, but hey, I'm back. It's Friday evening, and what a welcome back! And I've brought with you Spursy 141, the one and only Judge Jody is here tonight. So everyone, give a massive thing to Jody. Jody, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. It's Friday, can't complain.
Absolutely.
Always love a Friday. So yeah, I'm not in the courtroom today, so I can relax. It's Friday, just take it easy, really.
Yeah, and I'm not in jail. I've been
And
released.
you're not in jail. I'm surprised you're talking to me at the moment, Sid.
I know. I'm on parole, so I'm on my best behaviour. Sam and George have put me in jail, so they've let me out. I'm on parole, so I have to be on my best behaviour. But no, yeah, it's been a hectic week. Just a quick one. Did you watch Gareth Bale's performance last night and Joe Rodon's and Ben Davies?
I missed it. You know, I saw all the chat about it, and I actually missed it last night. I wasn't able to watch it. So,
do you know what? Heads up.
Sounded amazing.
It was. I watched it actually because my boy wanted to watch it, and what a performance by Gareth Bale. I mean, Ramsey was quite decent as well. Mm-hmm. But Rodon, it wouldn't seem like he's been out or he hasn't played for Spurs at all.
Yeah.
You know, and
so why is he not playing for us then?
Well,
Sid?
That's the question, and you know what? That's probably a talking point or an Ask Sid at another time. But I tell you what, he had Arnautovic in his pocket the whole game, and you could tell that Arnautovic was getting proper frustrated. So big up to Mr. Joe Rodon, and hopefully let's see if Conte was watching, because obviously he won't be watching Italy anymore because they got knocked out. So you know,
they did.
Absolutely.
I know. Unlucky, very unlucky.
Very, very unlucky. And you know what? I would just like to welcome everyone that's tuning in. Thank you very much for tuning in. And if you're in, please smash that like button. I believe we're also streaming to Facebook for the first time. So, yes, ladies and gentlemen,
to all you Facebookers.
Paxton Road TV. We welcome you. We hope you welcome our stream. That's Judge Jody. Ask Sid and Sid _ Spurs. That's it, whichever way we want to go.
The wrong way.
Absolutely. But you know what? We're one big Spurs family. So at the end of the day, it's Tottenham. We are Tottenham. That's right. And Jodie's advertising and modelling one of our Paxton Road hoodies, which will be available very soon. So before we move on to the topic, which is Son undervalued at Spurs, I just want to say a massive, well, it's not, how can we say? Should we say saddened to say that Jermain Defoe has retired from football? What an absolute legend he was, which every club, West Ham, Tottenham, he's gone to Sunderland, England. What a legend. The respect that he had, you know, unbelievable player. Yeah, some of the goals that he scored, I got to witness. I mean, did you actually ever witness him play, Jodie?
I think I saw him once. Yeah, I did see him once. And he's phenomenal. He's a phenomenal player. Like, I don't know. He's Spurs through and through, really, isn't he? So
absolutely. And you know what? I followed him all his career, everywhere he went. And I still remember to this day, Sky Sports News. I was many years ago, I used to do a little bit of Spurs thing. So every time there was a breaking news on Spurs, they would call me and I'd be live in the studio over the phone and they'd sort of interview me. And I've still got that interview. And believe it or not, it was about Jermain Defoe. And they rang me and it was all about talk about Jermain Defoe. We hear he's leaving, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I've still got that clip sometimes, so I will play it. But you know what? What an absolute legend. And talking of legends, we have another legend coming on stream, the one and only, ladies and gentlemen, Sam Spurs for life.
I like that.
Sam. How are you?
I like that. I'm good, thank you. Very well, thank you. Legend, you know. Thank you very much. I like that. Can't go wrong with that. How you doing, Jodie? How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you. We're here to talk about one of my favourite players. So
absolutely. We were just talking about Jermain Defoe. and being a legend at Spurs, and you just popped in as well. So you know what? You must have heard the word legend.
I just got back from the gym, so I did a legend session. So I'm ready to go for this.
So what did you think of Jermain Defoe's retirement?
He looks like he can. He looks young. You know what I mean? That's the one thing. How old is he? 36? Is it 36?
I think he's old. No, it's 39.
I think he's older than that.
39.
I think he's 39. Yeah.
Wow, he looks good for his age.
Bit like
it's one of them things he could probably play on. He could probably go and play in lower levels. You know, he could probably still do well. But I think I guess for someone like Jermain Defoe, he's played at the level he's played at. You know, he's played England level as well. It's probably just best to call it a day. You know, you can carry on like a boxer. You just don't know when your last fight is. And then, you know, so yeah, good on him. He's a legend for Spurs, and
absolutely,
he scored goals wherever he's win.
Yeah, and I believe I've heard today that Spurs have offered him the opportunity to do his coaching badges with Tottenham.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So they've said he can do it at Spurs with maybe potentially getting a coaching job within the club. So, you know, that'd be good. That'd be good for strikers. Absolutely. And that'll probably do Scarlett's confidence a lot of good as well if you've got JD assisting you in the pipeline.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so absolutely. Right. So on to tonight's topic now. This guy has been getting a lot of stick recently. Heung-min Son, people either love him or hate him. And the ones that used to love him have started to sort of not hate him, but just sort of give him a little bit of grief. So I thought, you know what, I myself has been one of these guys that I've not hated him, but I've just said his overall performances in a couple of games hasn't been up to the Son standard that I think we all expect. Now, my reasoning is because he got injured and then he's come back from an injury and he's playing almost every single minute of every single game. So it's a bit, for me, I think it's a bit hard for him to get back to his full fitness. And because we expect Son to play and deliver every single game, he may not score, he may not assist, but it's the other work that he does around the pitch. And because he's not been firing the goals left, right, and centre and assisting Kane a lot this season, I think people are on his back. So, Jody, what do you think? What's your honest opinion on that at the moment? And then we'll go into a little bit more in depth. But what do you think with the Son situation? Do you think the grief he's getting is justified?
It's hard, isn't it? Because I did my show on Monday and Darius and I were looking and Son's got 13 goals this season. He's joint second top goal scorer this season. So I just feel like the expectation that's been set upon him based on, last season, what was it? I think it was 17 goals that he got last season. So maybe people are a little bit used to kind of that version of Son getting 17 goals in. And look, we're only in March, so he could very easily top that record, I think, this season. I think I'm with you in the injury situation. I think that maybe he's not completely healed from his injury. Maybe he's lost a bit of confidence from the injury. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll make no, everyone I think that watches the show knows that Son is my favorite player. And I have been quite disheartened, I guess, by his performances over the last few months. And I don't know if it's a confidence thing or if it's an injury thing, but 13 goals kind of speaks for itself. The stats are there. He is making an effort. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Sam, what you're saying? What you saying?
Jody's harsh. You lot are harsh judges, aren't you?
I'm not in the chorus tonight.
So,
I'm
yes,
out,
true.
so.
You are a judge, so I keep forgetting. Right, okay. With Son, his stat. It's a funny thing. You got to look at it in two ways. You can look at his performances by, as I say, the eye test, how you see him playing, or you can go by the stats. The guy's the second top scorer in the league after, as Jody was saying, after Salah. Salah's on 20 goals, Son's on 13. So for a player that's not doing too well, what about all the other players that aren't doing too well if he's the second top goal scorer? The other thing is we've got such high standards for Son. I think is it at least 3 years in a row he's been the Spurs player of the season. Yeah. And that doesn't come without, you know, high expectations, high quality, because we've got Harry Kane in our squad. So I think and I've done it myself. I've looked at him and think he's not quite doing what he should be doing, but that's just with the eye test. In the numbers, the way the system is, Son is obviously doing his bit. It just needs others to kind of maybe step up. If others were stepping up as well, we probably wouldn't notice it as much.
Yeah.
But because it's Kane and Son, if Son doesn't score, it's like, oh, what's happened to Son? Blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I think we've been a bit harsh, but yeah, he's definitely probably on the eye, not quite as lightning as he has been since his injury, I think.
So, in terms of, I mean, obviously we've said he's got 13 goals. He's second top goal scorer. So the way I look at it, right, or the way I want you to look at it is, before the injury and after the injury, do you think his form's dipped? Do you think he's trying too much? Or is it because the players around him have sort of dipped? Like before his injury, I think he was more in form than Harry Kane. Since he's had the injury, Harry Kane seems to have come back in form and Son's form seems to have dipped. So do you think it's an amalgamation of that happening, or is it just because he's tired and that injury sort of is playing on in the back of his mind to say, you know what, I've got that injury, I'm not 100%, but because we all know Son will give 150%, even if that man's been shot or he's been whatever, someone cuts his leg off, he will give us 100%. So do you think it's just that injury that's the main thing in his mind, or is it just too much playing time?
Are you asking me first? Oh,
yeah, go for it. No, I'll ask you, Sam.
I'm going to jump in for Jodie because she can talk a lot. No, I was only joking, Jodie. I'm messing about. No, what I was going to say was I think it's a combination of things. The fact, if you'll come back from a long-term injury, I think he had a hamstring injury before January. It took him, 6 weeks to come back?
Yeah.
But since then, he's been put straight back into the... Oh, what was she doing there, Jodie? You're putting me off there. Oh, no.
That way. The Tomac, I'm just saying hi. Sorry.
Caught in the flow. Sorry. Yeah, so he's been brought back from injury, and usually when you bring back a player from a long-term injury, they get to be phased back in because of the nature of Son, because he's so critical and so key to us. He's just been put back in, and as we've talked about before, he seems to have to play the majority of the games. Since he's been back, he hasn't had a rest. And when you've come back from that type of injury, well, it does take a little bit of time to get back to form. He hasn't really been given that time. So he's not like he's been brought on for 20 minutes and then brought off and then kind of eased back in. It's right, you're fit, get back in, because he's so required. I think that's going to have a physical effect on anybody. I think we've just got to maybe look back and think about the numbers that Son's got, as opposed to what we kind of expect him to do, because I think his numbers match up in terms of what he's been doing this season for us.
So on what you've just said, right? Portal Mac is spot on here. 90 minutes total performance should be the criteria, not by one heavy touch, no missed chance. So in a way, I agree with what Portal Mac is saying. People exactly what you're saying, Sam. People are just judging him if he makes that one mistake or that heavy touch every now and then. Last couple of games he's had, people are judging him on that. Don't judge him on that. Judge him on his 90 minutes performance and then overall over the season.
But also, they're judging him by his high standards. I don't know what Jodie thinks, but I think because he's got such high standards, if he falls just even below it, which would be a normal play. For instance, when we see what Ben Davies does and we think, oh, Ben Davies is playing magnificent, that's because his benchmark is so much lower. So when he has a great game, it's so much better. When your benchmark's high and you have a little bit less than your benchmark, it always, you're not quite as good, but it's still very good. So I don't know. It's hard to.
I agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I think it's the fact that we've put so much pressure on Son to have this high standard and to perform in such an exceptional way. And because of what happened last season, because of the magic that we saw, it's kind of fresh in our minds, because it wasn't a great season for us. I think that that Son and Kane show that we had last season was so amazing and so phenomenal for so many people. And I think because we had all the Kane drama in the summer, and then Kane wasn't at his best, and then it's all a thing, I think, isn't it? It's just, I think we have that expectation, and you're right, Sam. I think
definitely. As I said, he's a great player, and there's this. What I guess the debate that we could have is, and a lot of people are there's probably some disagreements is whether or not Son is 100% world class. Say 100%. You're either world class or you're not. I believe he is. Some people say that he's not because he's inconsistent, but I don't think he's inconsistent. I just think he's got such high standards that we measure him by, and then that comes with the territory. Harry Kane's world class, but we know at the beginning of the season he wasn't quite up to speed. Now he's what, second top goals or third after, he's got 12 goals. Yeah. After somebody who had like 1 goal in the first 12 games or so.
It's madness, isn't it? I mean, Paul Max also saying here in terms of wages, Sancho's on 350k, Grealish is on 300k, and Son is 140k. Criminal. I don't think it's criminal, mate. I think he's a smooth criminal.
That's the next judge, Jody. That lockout. That's terrible. That's just like, what is that?
That's shocking. That's shocking.
Second top goal scorer, and you're on like half what Grealish.
Yeah, but I think you know what? I think with that one, it's what they agree at the beginning, don't they? I'm sure when he renews his contract or is up for negotiations, I'm sure that's going to get doubled, maybe.
Well, he's
just done it though, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, but you've got to keep doing it. I mean, apparently Bruno's just doubled his wages. So, and what has he done this season? Absolutely nothing.
You know what? I think it's actually a very refreshing thing. A lot of players these days, when we look at someone like Son, we think, oh, it's criminally on 140. But he didn't have to sign his contract. The fact he's happy with that sort of money is he's happy at Spurs. 140,000. We're going, oh, it's peanuts. 140k a week. Come on.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we're judging it by when someone like Ronaldo's on 500 grand a week. You think to yourself, what's going on in football? But 140,000 pound a week is a lot of money.
It is a lot of money. It is. Just like to welcome everyone that's joining us, whether they're watching it on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and even on stream. Mark Swift, Portal Mac, Clement, Simply Ace. Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Simply Ace is saying here, Son has been inconsistent this season in terms of performance, which is likely to do with not giving him a rest. However, his stats are brilliant in terms of goals and assists in a poor team.
That's what we
That's
said.
the other, exactly. And it's because the goals aren't coming from anywhere else as usual. And it's kind of like that's the reliance and that's the expectation because that's all we know.
Exactly.
Yeah. And do you know, I think Porto Mac's on fine form today because
he's definitely on it.
He's basically, and I agree, Liverpool fans never ever slander Mane nor Salah for missing sitters more often, playing with world-class teammates. I think I have seen a few Liverpool fans criticise them. I know Mane got a lot of stick, and I think with Mane, even though the fans don't criticise him, Klopp seems to be taking him off. If either of them two are not playing well, they've got the players to replace them with. So like the other day against, who were they playing? Was it Champions Man City? Who did they play last? Liverpool. West Ham. Mane and Salah, they took them off and they bought on Firmino and whoever, Jota and them lot, and they won them the game. And when you've got that kind of rags, and riches, you can do that. So the fans probably won't slag Mane and Salah off because they know how good they are. Everyone is entitled to a bad game or a bad touch here and there. But whereas with Spurs fans, I think they tend to get more in the player's face because we haven't got enough quality players around to help Son and Kane. So if they get injured or if they're having a bad game, there's no one else to pick on because you can't. Mike's not here, so you can't pick on Doherty. You know what I mean?
It's a goal. I think you got a good point there, Sid, because the reliance on 2 players for us, as you look at Liverpool's squad, they got 5 goal scorers in theory. So I guess, but the thing is, Liverpool fans do moan about Mane, even moan about Salah to a degree. But again, when they're not scoring, they can bring him off or bring Mane off and bring Firmino on or bring, Diaz on or Jota on. Or so they've got
Origi comes in and scores a goal.
Even Origi. So when they don't miss players, if someone like Origi or Jota or Diaz came in and Mane came off and they weren't scoring, then I guess it would polarize what Mane's not doing more so than, and they're top of the league almost. So again, different stats for us.
But in all fairness, it's a bit harsh on him, but I think sometimes it's the grief that he gets is just unjustified. He shouldn't be getting what he gets, but it's football. And as you know, if your team's not doing well or you've had a bad day, you're going to end up blaming certain players. And unfortunately, because Son and Kane are our two main men, they seem to be getting the brunt of it all.
Yeah.
So let's have a look at some stats, because I like to do stats.
Oh, by the way, that's a nice hoodie you got there, Jodie.
Oh, thank you.
That's a great hoodie, isn't it? And I did mention
Coming soon, guys.
Coming soon. You know
Always don't miss a chick when we come to selling. Do you know what I mean? Got to sell all the time. Paxton Road Tv.
Absolutely.
They're available if you want them, people.
Absolutely.
They are available.
So I've just had I don't know what's going on.
It's a nice little background you got there, Sid.
What's this?
Oh, right. So
nice.
Let's have a look. Kane and Son this season, 37 goals between. Well, not this season. In general, 37 goals. Right? Goals
this season. I don't remember that.
Right. No, I think that's total combinations of goals and assists between them two, because they've just broken the record, haven't they? Of 37 goals. Yeah.
I thought it's 39 now in the Premier League.
I think it's 37, but I might be wrong. I might be
39.
Kane's got 99 goals, and Son's got 61 goals. Okay. Son's setting up Kane on 19 occasions, and Kane has returned the favour 18 times. 37 of the 160 goals as a partnership have seen them assist one another. So, them two are just on a next level compared to everyone else. And when one's not playing and the other one's injured, or vice versa, it just seems to be mayhem. Is it? So I'm going to ask you this, Jordy. What is it that these two have, right, that they've combined 37 times and scored 160 goals for Tottenham when they've been in the same team or they've played? What is it? What have they both got that is just so magical?
It's the winning mentality, really, isn't it? Like, I think it's the fact that both of them they want to be the best of the best. And I think that always gels well together when you're playing with a partner that wants the same thing as you. So I think Son's been ingrained in that from his very early days. I think his dad was really, really harsh on him when he was younger, to just ingrain that kind of winning mentality and aptitude to be the best of the best. And we all know what Kane, Harry Kane is Harry Kane, isn't he? So I think the fact that both of them, want the best for themselves, but also I think for the team, definitely has an impact in the fact that they can gel together like that.
Yeah. Sam?
They just add on to what Jodie's saying as well. Yeah, definitely the mentality, world-class abilities from both these players, but they've got a good relationship as well. They seem to be getting on very well. They seem to be friends. They seem to want to work for each other. It's very difficult to, I guess, play to the best of your abilities if you're not getting on with your teammates. I think it's very hard in a team sport. And they clearly get on very well. Also, as well as that, they're very, very good players. That boils down to it. They're very good players. You see in these combinations we could have of players, and you could probably throw in someone like, I don't know, who have we had recently strike-wise? Vinicius kind of,
Llorente
didn't seem to gel with Kane. That's why I was saying, why can't you play it too? Didn't seem to work. These two do work because they know each other's game and they complement each other. I think that's probably the best word I could use, is they complement each other.
Yeah.
Right. So let's have a look at Son's. God, bear with me. I don't know what's going on. Here we go.
It's nice though. I love it. These
Right. So let's look at Son's this season. Okay? 26 matches so far, 2,242 minutes of football, and his goals are 13, and he's got 5 assists. Now, like we've mentioned before, and like you've both mentioned before, for somebody who's been injured, for someone who's getting a lot of crap and a lot of flack, I think that is quite decent.
Yeah. The stats don't lie.
That's very good. It's like 1 goal every 2 games.
And an injury, like a major injury.
5-6 weeks.
Yeah. An assist every 5 games or so, whatever that would work out to be.
Yeah.
Goal contributions, 18 in 26 games. I don't know. I think like I said, we as Spurs fans, we probably a little bit too harsh sometimes on our better players. And Son is definitely, I've done it, so I know as well. But I guess when you sit back and you look at it, them numbers are really good.
Yeah. And I think, you know what it is? I probably think is because we've had all these shenanigans with the managers, Nuno, then Conte's come in, and then we've had that good run, and then we've had that inconsistent run, and players have not been giving their 100%, and
Harry Kane stuff as well. I think that had a massive impact on Son as well.
Yeah.
You know?
Good point.
So, you know, and the fact is, he's still, if you look at that, right, if you just went up to somebody and said, look, this is Kane so far, this is Son so far this season, somebody would have, they're not going to say, really? Oh, wow, that's a decent output for somebody of his ability so far with 2 months to go of the season.
So what we could have done, or what would be good, and I don't know if is trying to even compare that stats to someone similar, not necessarily at Spurs, but of another player, another team who's supposedly doing well or not doing well, whoever that might be. So I guess you could look at someone like Mane, or I don't know, for Manchester City, someone like Sterling, or I don't know, Man United. A similar type of player. I'm looking for similar type players, not quite out and out strikers, but certainly players who are forwards, who, you know, usually there could have been a winger. You know, Son could play in various positions along the front line. AKA like, you know, the likes of the Liverpool lot. So again, compare his stats maybe to someone like, I don't know, Sterling. How do they match up? I would imagine that they match up pretty well.
Yeah. And
no one's given Sterling grief this season. So.
Yeah, exactly. And even Jack Grealish, they paid 100 million on Jack Grealish to come and do the job. Yeah, that Son can do. Son is doing 100 times better on half his wage.
Yeah,
Grealish is not even playing. So we've got to give the man respect. You know, and I know he probably, his goals, it could have been a lot more, but he's missed a few. But he's human after all, you know, and he's allowed to miss.
Well, he's on target for what he had last season, really. He's 17, and, you know, where, like, I don't know. Right. I think he's doing really well.
Exactly. So his XG is 10.4, and his XA is 6.7. So that's still pretty decent for somebody of his ability. He probably we're probably expecting a hell of a lot more in terms of his XG. But I think 10.4 is quite decent. It's quite decent.
So what does that mean then, that XG, in terms of expected goals? Is that expected goals for the season?
No, I think it's expected goals for the amount of times that he plays per minute.
How does that work then?
Right, let me just double check that one. But I was googling it, but if anybody in the comment section knows exactly what he means, so it basically means. Expected goals. It's a statistical measurement of the quality of goal scoring chances and the likelihood of them being scored.
Okay.
So
let's get 10.4.
Yeah. So it's the goals he scored and the likelihood of it. Now, next one. So far this season, total passes 803. His successful passes have been 697. Passes per 90 minutes 32.1. And his success rate is 86.8%, of which long passes is 55.6%. Total shots is at 48, shots on target 32, 13 goals, and his conversion rate is 27.1%. So shots on target for me is at 32 out of 48. So one in three or 2 in 3 shots have hit the target. And you're telling me he's having a bad season?
It's really good. It's really good. Yeah.
You know?
I never said he's having a bad season.
No, we're not saying that. We're not saying that.
But like we said, stats don't lie. So looking at them stats, Jody, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I mean, like I said before, stats don't lie. Like, I think back to the point of, I think for majority of people, the Spurs fans and people who are saying that Son's not stepping up this season, it's the eye test, really, isn't it? It's the fact that it's comparing to last season, everybody has in their minds that Son is this goal scoring monster, which he is. And he's got 13 this season. But look, stats don't lie. Like that's very good. That's very decent.
Absolutely.
So,
is that just in the Premier League? Is that all games?
That's just the Prem.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to see if I can get some stats on other players whilst we talk.
Yeah, I was going to say it'd be good to see like what that compares to against, say, a Kane or someone else from a different team or something like that, just to see.
And he's been injured, don't forget, for 4 or 5 whatever weeks he was out injured. So, you know what? I'd be happy with that. Moving on. What are we moving on to? Okay. Minutes per goal, 173.2 minutes. So it's a goal almost every 2 games he's scoring a goal.
I mean, that's not a bad. Like again, it's like, you know, what more do you want from the guy? Like,
exactly. Sam, would you be happy with that if you're winger?
Yeah, I was just gonna. So I've just got a couple of things up here. So, courtesy of PremierLeague.com. Sadio Mane, again, which is I guess a direct comparison. I think we can safely say that 26 appearances in the league, 12 goals, and he has 1 assist. Let's see, shooting accuracy, shots on target 31, total shots 81, shooting accuracy 38%. So if that's a comparison in terms of shots on target, 1 less. You know, in terms of shots, total shots, he's taken a lot more shots though. It says 81 here I've got, but shots on target being 31, I guess, you know, that's comparable. Goals definitely comparable, being 12. So you tell me, is anybody moaning about what Sadio Mane is doing this season? No. I haven't heard anything. So
exactly.
I'm not sure.
Absolutely. No, I totally agree with you. I mean, and what you got to remember, Mane is playing with Salah, Jota, Henderson, Fabinho,
Bobby.
Exactly. Diaz. So
I guess the only thing you can say about the Liverpool lot is that they have more players, so they maybe share things around a little bit more. So they're not so reliant on 2 players like we are. But still, if you're comparing a player for player, there's the numbers.
Absolutely. Right. So now we're going to move on to his seasons ahead. This I've not done Dortmund.
Hamburg.
Leverkusen. I've not done them. So we signed him in his first season, 2015-2016. He played 28 games, 1,107 minutes, scored 4 goals, 1 assist. The following season, 34 appearances, 2,062 minutes, 14 goals, 6 assists. Next season, 37 appearances, 2,317, 12 goals, 6 assists. His XG was 10.4 and his XA, so his goals and assists, is 4.8. 2018-2019 season, 31 appearances, 2,039 minutes, 12 goals, 6 assists, 7.6 XG and 3.3 XA. 2019-2020 season, 30 played, 2,476 minutes, 11 goals, 10 assists, 8.9 goals, XG and XA is 7.0. Last season, 37 appearances, 3,114 minutes, 17 goals, 10 assists. His XG 10.3, his XA 8.9, and to date, 26 matches, 2,242 minutes, 13 goals, 5 assists, XG 10.4, XA 6.7. Talk to me about stats for all the seasons. Is that acceptable? Is that very good?
The first thing that stands out for me is that from last year and this year, he's got 9 games like difference, and he's nearly on par of scoring the same goals, right? So the fact that people are saying that he's not having a good season, you know, he could get to the end of this season and he could have scored 25. I don't know. That's the first thing that I see anyway. But
I mean, it's just said, if you look at this, I think if I'm right in what I'm saying, I might be wrong. I think Sons has got player of the season from 2017, 18, 19, and 20, or I might be 1 year out. It might be 2018, 19, 20, or whatever it is. But the XG, I think I've worked the XG out. The XG and the XA are for the season. So it's the average for the season. They're expecting him to get 10 goals a season, or you're expecting him to get 4.8 assists. So if you look at that correlation, he's expected to get, in the season 2007, he's expected to get 10.5 goals. He actually got 12. He was expected to get 4 and a bit assists. He actually got 6. And then every season he's done better than he's expected. If that's right. And I think it is.
Yes,
so
it is.
Again, I don't understand, how we think sometimes when you look at those numbers. Stats can deceive, but they don't lie, as we talked about before. So them numbers that he's got this season are currently looking like he could have his, in terms of goals scored anyway, his best numbers for us.
Yeah, 100%. Like it's clear as day.
Absolutely.
An amazing season, guys. Spread the word.
But you know what it is? It's. I think haters will be haters, and I think it's basically
haters gonna hate.
Wait, Sid, you're the one who's gonna get the hate because Potomac was giving you grief. Who was giving grief to Son? And then we had some comments about. I can't remember. It was either Sean or somebody who was giving Son some grief, and I think we had some comments about it. But it was Sid, was it?
It was me. It was that one game. It was that one game where I didn't slag him off. I just said, you know what, he's had a bad game, and I think Potomac gave it to me 2-0. But you know what, respect to him, because he put it in the comment section on the video, and I replied back to him, and he replied back to me, and respect where respect's due. And you know what, he did apologize, and he did say, you know what, my bad, but you know, us Spurs fans are what we are, and he did apologize, and when I put my case forward, so we're all good now. We're all good. He's on stream, so I've not done anything bad, but I think everyone has a bad game. Everyone has a couple of bad touches in games, and people are just what it is, isn't it? To be fair, and I agree. Liverpool fans don't slag certain players off in their team, but Man United fans do, Man City fans do, Arsenal fans, I'm sure they do as well. But
so Man United's a good example. I know we're probably comparing a player, Cristiano Ronaldo, world's best player, arguably probably the greatest player ever, getting a whole lot of grief, but currently again he's got 12 league goals this season. And again, you'd think for some Man United fans that Cristiano Ronaldo was pants. He's absolutely trash. That might be true in comparison to what he was doing 5 years ago, but he's still a very, very good player because his numbers don't lie. So we do the same thing. We put these players at this level, and then when they perform 10, 15% less, but still put up numbers better than a corresponding player, we can't, he's not doing as great, but he's on course to have his best goal scoring season. So I think we should be very happy with that, and long may it continue.
Absolutely. The other thing as well with Son, right, is when we signed him, he was playing really well for Leverkusen, and he's not failed to deliver at all. You never see him sulking. When he's missed chances, or you know, he's done a bad pass or whatever, he's not happy at all. He's angry. Even after the games, he's angry. When he scores a goal, no matter how much, how bad we're playing or where we're playing, his celebrations are just second to none. He is probably one of the most happiest footballers that I have seen actually come onto the pitch. And for a whole 90 minutes, you see him angry, frustrated, and then you see the joy in him when he scores goals, And as Spurs fans, I think we should be blessed that we've had such a quality player.
I was going to say, Sid, like when you're talking about value of Son, like it doesn't just come with the way that he plays football and, the way that he's so talented. It also comes with his personality. I think for me, like that's another reason why he's my favorite player, is because he's such a likable person. And I think, he's so selfless as well. I think, he creates chances for other players so many times. His team's very mature. And he always, like when you watch training videos and stuff, he's always joking and laughing around. And I remember I saw a quote from him. I think he was saying like football's life. Without football, there's no life, or something like that. So like the fact that he's such a likable person and the game means so much to him, it's such a big thing, I think, and we need that more at Spurs. So I agree.
Let's not forget about his commercial value as well to Spurs. I know he's valuable to Spurs anyway, and you could value that in terms of pound notes, dollars, euros, whatever. But his commercial value, he's the number one celebrity person in South Korea.
Yeah.
The number one. You know, he's like a god there. So that obviously translates from a commercial perspective for Spurs. It also, you know, it gives us that ability to, for the team itself, for Spurs as a club, you know, I know people who in South Korea probably just follow the player, but the fact that player wants to stay at Tottenham can only be beneficial to us as well. So
agree. So many like South Korean fans like coming to Tottenham just because of Son. It's like, it's crazy, isn't it? So
but I don't only think it's just South Korean fans or Tottenham fans.
Asia.
Asia, and I know fans of other clubs, and they talk to me and they're like, you know what, Son is just on the next level. And they say, you know, like out of all even out of Harry Kane and all your Tottenham players, he said we love watching Son because of what he can do and his pace and stuff. And it's just amazing. I mean, the other thing you were saying, Dele Alli, compare him to Son, whereas Son's not even got a girlfriend because he's told him that
he's not allowed. Apparently,
is he not allowed to have a girlfriend?
He's not. Well, what he said is
he's had them. He's had girlfriends, but I don't know.
But he said,
I think his dad is. Yeah, I think his dad instilled in him at a
How
very
old is Son?
age.
10. He's not 10. His dad said he can't have a girlfriend.
Well,
my dad to do
I'm
one.
sure he's got one.
I'm telling my dad to do one.
Probably dad probably says no. That doesn't.
Yeah, but if you look at it, right, he doesn't want to have a girlfriend yet because he wants to. Because basically, what he's saying is, football is only going to last me X amount of years. Let me enjoy it. Let me enjoy everything that comes out of it. Let me get all the dosh and all the trophies and everything that I can get now.
Sure
Girlfriend can wait. I can always go back to that, and that will.
Oh, I'm not quite sure about that. I'm not quite sure about that. Not me personally. I'm not saying for Son it might work, but me personally, I'm not quite sure.
No, Dele Alli on the flip side, he wants everything, doesn't he? So, and look where he's got him.
Yeah,
you know, the discipline and that it's sort of gone out the window. Whereas with Son, the discipline's there, and he worships football more than women. So, or girlfriends.
His dad apparently had him doing training, like, what was it, 4 hours I was reading the other day. I think he was like juggling the ball for 4 hours or something like that. Like, his dad was very strict. So you can tell, I think, in the way that Son just is so kind of adamant.
No wonder he's always smiling when he's playing. He's bloody glad to be away from his dad.
Absolutely.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
What's going on? Dad doing that? Nah, come on, Son. Don't let your dad do that to you. Tell him to do one.
On the topic of when we were saying that Liverpool have got Firmino and all them lot, Simply Ace is saying we've got, don't worry, we have Winks, Mola and Bergwijn as backup. Yeah. So, yeah. And then Photomac is saying, is Sid going to sing? Well, you know what? Nice one, Sonny. Nice one, son. Nice one, Sonny. Let's have another one and another one, another one, another one.
Yeah,
anyway,
let's have 10.
10. Yeah. Ishak is saying, what do you think that has been said? The game against Arsenal is going to be in 2 weeks in May. I don't know what's going on. I've given up with that. I think
they're waiting. I think they know the date. I think they are putting it in that last week. I think it's kind of Jamie Redknapp let it kind of slip in that TV, the West Ham game. I think it was, and I think they're just going to put it in that week before. Because I don't think there's any space in. Well, there's no space obviously in March now. April's tight because there's a couple of games that Arsenal got to play in midweek, or at least one. So it's got to be in May, and they can't do it the last game of the season because that can't change. I think it's going to be that midweek, Tuesday or Wednesday.
I think there's I'm sure I've seen a break somewhere, and because we're not in the FA Cup as well, so I can see them going to try and do it some point.
Oh, that's the point. FA Cup semi-final weekend, I think could be.
Yeah, could be. So you never know. But
would they not want to do it on a weekend to get more like ratings? That's what I'm thinking.
Do you know what?
Yeah, I'm just going to have a look. Go on.
I don't trust Sky at all. They'll do whatever suits them, and whichever date it suits them, and it inconveniences all Tottenham and Arsenal fans is the day they'll pick it.
They don't give a toss about us.
That's what I'm saying.
No, they're putting it in suits TV. That's why it might be good for them to get a Super Sunday. But if it has to be midweek because they can't fit it in, they'll put it in whatever day. Don't matter.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be a Super Thursday. Ecstatic Thursday. Yeah, Ecstatic Thursday. Sang Ming Lee saying, Son is okay. We should sell him while he's worth anything. He's turning 30 soon. I personally don't think we're going to sell him. I think Son doesn't want to go anywhere. I think he wants to finish his career at Spurs, and I don't think we're going to sell him. Thoughts on that one? Do you think we'll sell him?
I don't think so. How long's his new contract?
I think
because you don't just sign a new contract, so
yeah, but contracts don't mean nothing, do they nowadays? 20. Hold on, it's a 4-year contract. 2025. He's agreed terms until 2025. Yeah, so 3 years. We've got another 3 years.
Yeah.
So my view is, and it's only my view, if Son was going to leave and he had the opportunity to leave because he didn't have to sign his new contract when he signed it, that would have been a clear signal that he would have wanted to. There's no guarantee with any player, but the fact he's signed again, he appears happy. I don't see us selling him unless Son wants to go. If Son doesn't want to go, there's no way we're going to sell him. But unless Son says, right, I've had enough of this,
yeah,
there's a potential. But Harry Kane did exactly the same thing, and he's still here. So why would
he? Yeah. And I agree. And I was gonna throw in a question, but I think I'll leave that for another day. But my question was gonna be, if the push comes to the shove, yeah. And I'm gonna do a Sam special here now. I'm gonna throw that question at you, and I'm gonna go to you first, Sam. If the push comes to the shove at the end of the season, and Conte's told Son or Kane, who you keeping?
Oh, that's not nice.
Personal decision or Conte
That's
decision?
not nice.
It's not nice, is it? But if he's told that,
are you asking my point of view, or are you asking from Conte?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Well, I tell you what. Let's have Conte's point of view first, and then let's have your point of view.
Okay, I think from a Conte's perspective, I don't think Conte. If Conte had a choice, I think he'd keep Harry Kane. I think it's very, very difficult to replace Kane. He's almost 2 players in one. He's a number 9. There's not many of them in that mold about. I think you could probably say you could get wide players or certainly forwards to fill the Son role of that sort of ability. If you look at Diaz, who went to Liverpool, then that's a sort of level of player who's probably sort of like Kane. And there's players like that. You know, we were talking about Jack Grealish before. He hasn't got the numbers at the moment, but he's another player of that sort of mold. So I think you can get those type of players. And if he was Conte, I think you would say, I could probably get another Son. I don't think you're going to do very well to get another Kane unless you're going to get someone like Haaland and then Mbappe, which I don't think we're going to be getting anytime soon. So from that perspective, Conte would choose Kane. Me, I'm choosing Son. And the reason I'm choosing Son is because I think Son could fill that Kane gap, in my opinion. But we'd have to have a replacement that can do what he does, if that makes sense. I said, no, I don't know now. Oh, no, you've confused me.
You see how it feels now when you...
No, it does feel bad. It feels terrible. You know what? I've talked about Harry Kane's importance. Harry Kane's importance to Spurs is really... I said Kane was more important than Conte. So I'm going to have to go, that's tough, Sid.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
I like Son. I'm going, because like Jody, I really love Son as a player. I'm going to have to go with Son, even though it's hard.
Fine.
Sorry.
That's all right. So
long-winded.
Conte selling Kane and yours... No, Conte selling Kane. No, so Conte selling Son and you're selling Kane, right?
Is it still me? You've got to give Jody the same question.
No, I'm just clarifying what you said.
Oh, I thought he's giving me more grief.
No. Conte keeps Kane and you're keeping Son, right? Yeah.
Jody? Very, he's twisting my arm here because like I told you, it's not a nice one. But if you're going to twist my arm like that, just because of Son's character, that's so bad. But...
Guess what, Sam? Nice one, son. Hey, nice one, son. Yeah, Jody, what you say?
Yeah. Do you know what? It's tough because I always thought in my mind that if Harry Kane was to leave in the summer, then Conte would go, or vice versa. But I do like the fact that, like, I feel like Son can take Kane's role, and Sonny has all these other attributes that we like know and love, and I feel like Conte has this relationship with him as well. Personally, I'm keeping Son as a personal thing. I don't know. I mean, we did like a show, didn't we, before the start of the season about Son or Kane and who needs to go. And I chose Son to stay. But this is different because we didn't have Conte in then.
True.
Oh, it's tough. I'm not Conte, so I don't know, Sid.
You know what? We have to do it. You have to look at it in different ways as well, Jodie, because you have to think, who are you going to get the most value for? It depends on what you're going to do. So
well, that's
again,
the thing,
I look at it, okay, if you're pushing me
Son,
now,
sell Kane, get loads of money.
You're going to get more money for Kane. I think Son could probably, as we've seen with the goals, he's what, 14, 12. If he's put in that position as he's the main man, he could probably get up towards 20 goals a season in the league, possibly. Yeah. Whether that will be continuous, I don't know, but the chances are it could be. But we'd probably get more money for selling Kane, and we could use that to get, a player of, I don't know, not necessarily Grealish, but Diaz or someone like that. I keep mentioning his name because he's the sort of player that we could get that could fill that role, And then you could have a front three that's very fluid and dynamic and play different ways. But you can't escape the fact that a number 9 like Kane who can play a number 10. Where are they? There's not many. There's not any, I don't think.
This is the thing, isn't it? This is the thing. It's a good question.
What about you, Sid? What about you?
Yes, Sid! Me? What about you?
I would.
Oh, that's what he thinks about that question.
One second. I'm coming back. You can hear me, right?
Technical difficulties.
The old BBC closing off at 1 p.m. sort of job, that is.
I know, isn't it? 1 second.
1 a.m. should I say.
Let me see what's going on here. I'm back. Right. So I tell you what I'm going to do. Right. Conte is going to keep Kane because he's said it, hasn't he? That Kane is the main man and he's going to do everything in his powers to keep Harry Kane at Tottenham Hotspur. And Harry Kane has said, as long as Conte is there, I'm staying at Spurs. Me personally, and I agree with what you've both said, it's do you remember that Colonel Abrahams? Do I listen to what you say or listen to what the folks say? It's a tough decision to make. I personally would keep Son because we get more money for Kane, like you said, both said. We're going to probably not get as many goals from Son as we would get from Kane. But, as what you said, Sam, if we play him as an out-and-out striker, I think he has the potential to get as many goals as Kane. And also, what you've said, if we get another decent right winger or left winger, they can interchange and they can mix it around like Liverpool do with Mane, Salah, Firmino, Jota and Diaz. I think it would work. I totally agree with pair of you. It would totally work with Son as an out-and-out striker. And I think the pressure would be off him, not as much of a pressure because Kane's gone. And I personally think if we sold Kane and kept Son, I think Son would deliver big time. I think it.
That's. We're kind of doing a full circle here, but like from my perspective, I felt that was what Son maybe thought when potentially Kane was leaving at the beginning, and maybe that's another reason why he's not been performing kind of the way that he was last season because of all that Kane stuff, and maybe he thought he was going to be the main man, and I don't know. There's a whole thing there. I think.
Do you know what it is? He must have gone to Conte and he must have said, "Baby, I'm your man." Anyway, but on another right.
Porter didn't say it like that though.
No, he didn't. Porter Mack is saying 5 more assists and Son will be the first player in Premier League history, to score and assist double digits 3 seasons in a row. Now, that is, if that happens, which I think it will, that's absolutely phenomenal to be on that consistent every season, right? That is next level for me, and that is world class.
And the thing is, it is really good. But the reason we're not high, because if you look at the table in terms of top goal scorers, we've got two players in the top 5 in the league, but where we are in the league, that means we need other players to kind of contribute. So now we've got Kulusevski possibly looking like he's adding to the goal tally, assist tally. If those front 3 can play like they do and get the goals, we just need a few more goals from midfield. I'm hoping that we can, get a couple of goals in there from Bentancur and Højbjerg. Possibly not Højbjerg so much, but Bentancur looks like he's a player that could potentially have a goal in him. And we need to get them wide players in terms of the full wing backs to score goals. We get goal contributions from elsewhere and have those numbers from Son and Kane, or potentially around about those numbers, then we would be higher up the league. It's the other players that we need to step up.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And one more statistics from Mr. Potomac. One more assist and Son will be the only player in Europe to score 10 plus goals and 6 plus assists every season since 2016. So there you go.
Guy's a hero in my eyes.
You know what? It's like you said, Jody. He's not just a hero in South Korea. I think he's everywhere. And do you know what? I can sing another song, but I'm not gonna because I've done too many already now. But I'm not gonna because everybody will start logging off because they'll be like, "This is a bloody Britain's Got Talent" or some crying or rubbish going on here. What's going on?
I got a question to ask. Go. You ask yours first.
No, it wasn't a question. It was just more a statement about Son. And I was just going to say I was at the West Ham game on Sunday, and the fact that Son scored those 2 goals, and just to see the celebrations and stuff, and the crowd like celebrating him, was just the best game to be at. And I just, as a Son fan, it just felt so amazing. So just big love to Son, and like I hope that now he's continuing on to like soar and fly. Anyway,
I got a question. What did you think of Son's coat?
I like it.
I liked it. I'm just saying it was a bit bright, but I like it. I would try myself. I don't know if I can carry that off, but he could carry it off.
Do you know what?
It was good.
Nice.
Can I ask you a question? Do you really like it? Is it wicked?
Have you got these written down somewhere?
No.
I reckon you got them written down. How can you know
nothing.
so many songs off your head? I can't remember titles of songs. I can't remember.
Yeah,
songs like that.
I'm loving it.
Another chance. You and the.
And Sid don't even drink. That's the thing, people.
I know.
Sid does not drink alcohol. You wouldn't have thought so, but he doesn't.
Not drank any alcohol in my whole
Maybe
life.
you should. It needs to mellow you out.
Maybe. See, you know what? Everyone says I'm like a tube of Pringles. Once you pop, you can't stop. Right. So let's have a look. There's loads of. Do you know what? Once again, we've got 30 people watching. Thank you very much for joining us. We've got loads of people in the comments section. We've got Dave Park, Hurricane 990. Porto Max in there as well. Mike Hotspur Hustler. Good evening.
Who's he? Who's Hotspur Hustler?
Hustler in the house.
Who's that geezer?
He's got a question. Name a better left forward than Son in the Premier League. I'll go first on that one. I think there's a player called No One.
I was going to say no one. Nah.
No, absolutely.
No, I don't think so.
Absolutely. Sorry. Tommy G, big the Three Musketeers, brilliant panel. Thank you. Big love. Porto Maki saying, love the way Sammy's getting a headache. Well done.
Porto Mac's funny.
Do you know what?
He's not wrong. He's not bloody wrong, Sid. I tell you what, you do.
But do you know what? It's about every time when you're hosting, you give us all a headache, right? Me and Hustler, and I'm sure Hustler will back me up, and Jody, and Darius Rika, and Sean. We get a headache, yeah? Because the questions that you pose, yeah, it kills us. So it's payback, mate, you know?
Yeah, that was hurtful, that one, because that's choosing between like your 2 kids. How can you do that? Do you know what I mean? You're trying to choose between your 2 kids. That's not fair. That's not fair.
You know what? It's like Liam Neeson says, I know who you are. I know where you are, and I'm coming for you. And when I'm coming for you, I'm going to give you the questions.
It's not just songs, it's movie quotes as well.
I know, innit? Kevin Murray, hello panel. Did you notice at the end of the Man U game, Ralph Rangnick walking off arm in arm with Sonny poaching? He wasn't poaching him. He was just saying to him, you know what? You're a top player, mate. I want you, but you're not. And Sonny must have said to him, you know what? Go away. Go walk out that door. You're not coming. I ain't coming to you lot.
The thing is now, I don't know how long his contract's for. Is it 2025?
2025.
So unless Son throws his toys out of the pram, which I don't see him in his attitude being, there's no reason why Son's going to leave Spurs unless we cash in on him. And I can't see Spurs because I just don't see at any point in time Son not playing for Spurs before his contract's up. If his contract's up and he doesn't re-sign, he'll be 33 by then, something like that.
Yeah.
you then might think about what does he want to do. He probably could go and play in, I don't know, South Korea or some other. He could go and do what he wants. He doesn't have to play football once he finishes at 33, because his career in Korea is amazing.
He's going to be absolutely, and they're all going to be going, he's a model and he's looking good. Anyway,
he's got them written down. Jody,
I haven't got nothing written down.
Nothing. Looks like it.
Tommy G, this is one for courtesy of Jody. Tommy G saying, love that Paxton Road jumper. I practically grew up on Park Lane. Do you want to go on, Sam? Go on. Do you want to do your bit?
Available in all good stores. Price $19.99. Contact us on the comments. Put your comment section in, and then we'll sort something out for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got different colours as well.
Different colours, yeah, various colours. I should have molded one as well, like Jody, but I haven't got. But if I had one on,
absolutely.
That's what I'll be doing.
But available in all colours. We've got black, grey, blue, you name it. We've got them, apart from red.
Apart from red. We don't do red.
Absolutely. Hurricane number 9900 is saying, wish Son sold to us. He's a Liverpool fan.
It's not the first Liverpool fan I've heard.
I know.
Klopp would actually get the best. I wouldn't say the best. Klopp would get so much out of him because he's a real typical type of, I guess, Klopp player. That high energy. Yeah, he'd be amazing at Liverpool.
I know. Yeah. Look, I'm getting hammered now for my singing. Sorry, Sid. Simply AC saying I have to keep muting your singing. For Earth Below at Sid, do not give up your day job. I don't have a day job, so I have to, you know. Mike Hustler is saying, I say keep Son and keep Kane because I'm greedy. What about Doherty? We're not keep Doherty as well. I'll tell you why.
Ask if you keep Doherty as well.
Yeah. If you get these two, you get one free, and Doherty's the free one.
What about Lo Celso, Sid?
Low blow.
He's gone.
What about Delhi, Sid?
Delhi's gone now, mate. Delhi is available in Sainsbury's and Morrison's on the counter. Oscar Hustler is saying, Jody, that PRTV hoodie is fresh.
It's banging. I need one of them. Yeah. Them hoodies are banging.
Banging hoodie.
Porto Mac, you got me spot on, mate. Britain's got Sid. It's coming. Don't worry.
Christmas album 2022. I swear it needs to happen. It has to happen.
Absolutely. But you know what? It's just been a pleasure, man. Daniel Levy will not cash out on Son as he is making buckets for the club in merchandising.
100%. His value to the club is so high commercially. There's no way he's getting rid of him.
No,
he's silly.
100%. Like it's like we've said, isn't it? You get rid of Son, right? And God forbid, if he goes to somebody like Man United or Liverpool, because they're already massive in Asia and places like that, they would have to retire because the club would just retire because the amount of money he'd make for him, it'd be astronomical, man. He'd be hitting, he'd be giving Ethan Musk a race to space, wouldn't he? Because it's for me, it's a no-brainer between Son and Kane. If the push comes to the shove, I'm keeping Son all day long. I'm keeping him all day long.
It's not quite a no-brainer though, Sid. I understand what you're saying, but it's not quite a no-brainer. Hold on a minute. You got to think about this one a little bit more than just saying, that's it. Because he's an Kane, isn't it?
The thing is, I think we give Son more stick than we give Kane. Yeah. And that's across all social networks.
We don't.
Yeah,
no,
I was going to say.
Don't. But I think somebody mentioned it before. Kane doesn't get as much stick as Son does. Yeah. And for all that.
He got a fair bit in the summer. Yeah,
he did, but
people have forgotten about that, haven't they?
Exactly, and this is it. And like Son has one or two bad touches, and everyone's back on his case. And I've always said, if you actually go to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, or if you go to any away stadium, and you're watching Spurs, and you see what Son does, yeah, he may not score a goal, but if you see what he does off the ball and everything else, you'd be like, you know what? Fair play to this guy because he gives 100%. And it's like Porto Max said, it's over 90 minutes and over the season, you've got to judge a player, not by the odd touch here and there. And it's just some of the things he does is just amazing. His body language, the way he gears up players, if he misses a sitter, you see the frustration in him. And sometimes I think after the game, he's that frustrated and he's that angry that some of them can't even console him, because to his standard, and I'm sure obviously his parents and whatever, the way he's been brought up.
Dad.
Yeah.
Well, you got to think about it. You got to think about it.
Yeah.
Harry Kane's England captain, so he's going to get a little bit better treatment in the media just because of that. You know, that's why Harry Maguire gets decent treatment in the media. Man United captain, plays for England. So they are going to a degree, kind of protect them a little bit more. But I think with Son, he does get, I guess from our own fans, I think that's what we question some of these things, and we should question players in terms of what we think they're not doing. But like you've just shown, Sid, you've shown it's not like he's doing the same things he's been doing. It's just sometimes we look at it and think he's not doing it because of, as I keep saying, the high levels he's at. And when you don't see him, in front of goal and you think, he's going to score there and he misses it, you kind of think, Son. And that's not quite, because every player misses easy opportunities.
This is it.
At times.
And it's like we've said before in the show, if he wasn't delivering, then yes, we can give him as much flack as we want to, week in, week out. But the stats don't lie, and the stats are saying he's delivering. So, everyone's human at the end of the day, and we're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to, but we've got to take the rough with the smooth. And sometimes it's just, I've done it myself. And I think Jack's is saying here, Son is South Korea captain. So there we go. We've got a team of captains, haven't we?
And he scored a goal.
And he scored a goal the other day. Yeah,
he scored a goal.
Yeah, exactly. So you know what?
Yeah, but Son's like Ronaldo to that Korean team, isn't he? Yeah, he could do what he wants. He could probably turn up late and still play. That's how much he's. But obviously, don't want him to be doing that sort of thing. But you know what I mean? He's so important to Korean football because of who he is that he pretty much doesn't have to do anything. He's always going to get selected. And I think to our detriment, that's probably a bad thing for us, because even when he's injured, they still want to take him along for the ride.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Where's it gone? I just saw a comment from. Where's he gone? Okay, don't know. Right, JC saying, I think every top club in the world would be delighted to have Sonny in their team. Do you think Barca, Bayern, Real Madrid? Do you reckon if he was available, they'd come in for him?
I agree with that. I don't know. I mean, I feel like he's an amazing player, and I think people would be stupid not to take him. So.
Yeah.
Listen.
I think so.
Listen. If Barcelona are buying Adama Traore, you're telling me they're not buying Son? Come on. Do me a favour.
Well,
do me
there
a
you
favour.
go.
They'd snap him up. If they're buying him, and I hope that geezer don't come, because there's all talk about Barcelona might not be paying that money now for him or something like that, or whatever it is. He's not coming to Spurs. We've had that debate. Let's not talk that Traore geezer up, that rugby player.
Not me and you. Not you and I, Sam. No. We don't talk about him.
Not
absolutely
that
not.
Bullshit.
Absolutely.
So Son is worth. So yeah, like I said, if you're comparing that, if Adama Traore is getting bought for 30 million or whatever it is at Barcelona, Son's got to be worth twice as much to them at least.
Absolutely.
In my opinion.
I totally agree. Right, we've been on air 1 hour and 8 minutes. So you know what? We've talked a lot about Son, and it's refreshing. One more comment from Porto. Sid, question for Sid, Jody, and Sam: will Son make the starting 11 for England if he were English over Sterling?
Yeah.
If he was English, definitely. I wish he could make it now, but he's not going to be able to. But yes, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
Sam, definitely.
100%. No doubts in my mind at all. No doubts in my mind.
I'm just thinking, if he was English and he was playing for England with Harry Kane at top, oh my God.
And there you go. So that's the thing. You look at that sort of combination. They play for the club teams, and it's very, very good when you can get that sort of combination in the national team, because it works well. And there's not you know, I know Foden and Sterling kind of, but they kind of maybe opposite sort of size and blah, blah, blah. But yeah, their combinations in terms of Son and Kane, if it was an England team, ooh,
that's what I'm
imagine.
saying. I mean, double axe. You've had Bonnie and Clyde. Yeah, Bonnie and Clyde. You've had Mork and Mindy, right? And now you can have Kane and Son. Can you imagine?
What a comparison. Mork and Mindy and Kane and Son.
Nanu.
Bloody hell. Jeez. Not even showing them or something like that. Mork and Mindy. Where you get Mork and Mindy from?
Batman and Robin.
Yeah.
You better, wait, Sid, you better tell the viewers what Mork and Mindy is, because some of these youngsters ain't going to know who Mork and Mindy is.
Nanu.
I know who they are.
Robbie Williams is back in the days. There was a series called Mork and Mindy where you played somebody from Spain.
You said Mork and Mindy to Darius, he'd be like, who?
I know.
Mork?
No, but yeah, you got Sutton, and Shearer, you got York and Cole, you've got
He-Man and Shearer, yeah, that's a
yeah,
good
Sutton
one.
and Shearer was in their prime.
Oh,
Man.
different.
York and Cole, definitely. York and Cole.
Yeah, York and
that
Cole
was a
as well.
combination. If they played in the same national team, that would be amazing as well.
And then you had King Kenny and Ian Rush as well.
Yeah,
you know, but right. It's been an absolute pleasure talking about Son. But just before we go, final question to the pair of you. And it is the question of the topic. Is Son undervalued at Spurs? Jody.
Oh, good job.
20 million, 1,000%. Yes, he is definitely undervalued at Spurs. I think we've covered everything, but he's an amazing footballer. His personality, his marketing ability, the way that he shows up at training, the way that he is selfless and just creates chances for other players. I feel like, yes, he is undervalued at Spurs. And I think this season we, as a fan base, probably need to do more to just make sure that he retains his, his amazing, brilliant self in the club, and that people are aware that he's so amazing and just don't kind of dip him down below where he kind of currently sits in people's minds. So in a long way, yes, I feel he is, but I think we have a job to do to just make that get better for him.
Absolutely.
Judge Jody MP there with that answer. Really,
that,
Judge Jody MP. I like
you
that.
know that. Vote Judge Jody.
Number one. Absolutely.
And yourself, Sam?
He's undervalued. He's worth more to us in terms of, not just the transfer value. He's obviously worth more to us as it talks about the commercial side of things. But in general, he's just a player that I can't now imagine not having Son in our squad, in our team. And I saw Dele Alli, and I thought a few years ago you brought Dele Alli and I thought, you know what? But even the last couple of years with Dele Alli, I thought, he's time for him to go. At no point have I thought to myself, Son needs to go. You might have thought Son might not be at his best, but never have I thought Son needs to go. Yeah. And absolutely undervalued to us, and his value will be seen particularly if we get top 4 this season. I didn't want to mention that word, but I'm going to do it anyway.
No, we went an hour and 13 minutes of not mentioning that, and then there you go, right at the end, he rolls it in. Don't do it. I don't want to bring it into my head.
I know. It's too late. It's in my head. That's why I can't get it out. I can't get it out no more. Is that what it is? I tried. I just can't get you out. Anyway, this guy.
Anyway, listen, it's been an absolute pleasure having you both on Ask Sid. I know I've been away for a couple of weeks, and you know what it is. I've been making a list of all these songs that I can sing tonight. But I think, Sam, every time you said something, a song came into my head. So there we go. You know what? It is what it is. But what's on the agenda for the Paxton Road crew? What's happening in the near future?
Oh, I put on the spot. You
international break.
You love putting me on the spot, didn't you? Jesus Christ. That's twice now. I'm getting back.
I'm on a break. That's my answer.
You're on a break. Are you on an international break?
Sadly, yes.
So Judge Jody's on an international break.
Yeah.
Sam Spurs for life. He's on an international break too. But no, saying that, we have got talking points next Tuesday. I don't even know what we're going to do yet. We're going to have to do something, not necessarily controversial, but something that's going to spark some sort of debate. So look out for that Tuesday, 8:05, I think. And then we will have the preview for the game against Newcastle, which is, I think the Newcastle game's a Sunday. Is it? Am I right in thinking that? Yes. No. It's a Saturday because Arsenal play on the Sunday, I'm sure, and we play before Arsenal. No, it might be Sunday and Arsenal play Monday.
Sunday, 4:00.
Yeah, so Arsenal play on the
Sunday,
Monday.
yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So yes, that means the preview show for that will be on a Saturday.
Cool.
So
Cool.
look out for that. Don't forget to like this stream. It's been fantastic. If you want to hear this guy sing more, this guy up there, well, that way. You must have to put them comments in the comment section and make sure you subscribe as well to the channel. And yeah, do all you need to do for Paxton Road TV. And if you want a hoodie like Jodie's,
yes,
in the comment section, contact one of us on Twitter as well.
100%,
we're sure we can sort
100%. And
It is summer coming, but hey.
Jodie,
no, hoodies all summer, like Kano said. Hoodies all summer. That's what we're doing.
Jodie, summer loving happens so
come on.
fast.
Come
Guess
on,
what? We've got the summer covered because me and Sam have been chatting, yeah, and we said these hoodies for summer is no good. So guess what?
We got something coming. We
We
got
got
something
something coming soon. So just keep
just hold on.
watching.
Yeah.
And as Tess Dealey and Claudia Winkelman say, keep watching.
Keep watching. Keep watching. And we're going to display it first as well. Like I said, I can't do it today because I ain't got the Paxton one on. But again, I'll do it this side this time.
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to be posing for the hoodies. And we won't say no more.
Don't say, let's go. And on that note, it's been an absolute pleasure having Jodie and Sam on ASIG tonight. And hopefully next week we'll have something else ready to go. So it's goodbye from all of us with a quick, simple message.